Got a question from Mark. He's just had this lovely wood burning stove fitted in his house. He's very happy with it because he lives in Scotland, in a mountainous area of Scotland, and it's freezing cold in the winter. He said because he's under the 5 kilowatts, he didn't think he'd need any extra ventilation in there. And then when the installer came along, the installer looked at it and he said, because you've got a cooker hood, you've got to have this vent put in. The first thing that rings alarm bells here is that this vent isn't compliant, because this is what we call a hit and miss vent with a little slide. Very nice, because it means you can close it off when you're not operating the wood burner. But when you are operating the wood burner, there's a possibility that you leave it closed. So they make it a rule that you're not allowed to have a hit and miss vent. It's got to be permanently open, which is obviously, like he says, very drafty. Let's look on the outside. So on the outside, he's got this vent here. So right behind the stove. The house actually doesn't look that new, does it? I don't think it's going to be that well draft proof, probably. So normally he wouldn't need an extra vent. But he's got this cooker hood. So he said the only trouble is that the cooker hood is not an extractor. It's a recirculating cooker hood. In other words, it's just got a filter on the top and it sends the air back into the room. So why would he need a vent in those circumstances? You wouldn't, would you, really? I mean, if you turn that cooker hood on and then you look at the fire and there's no discernible difference between having the cooker hood on and off, then I think that's fairly conclusive proof that the cooker hood is not affecting the fire. But I'd go one further. I'd close up the vent. I'd probably tape it over as well, because those hit and miss vents, even closed, they still allow air in. But if he tapes it up on the outside there, for example, and then he turns the cooker hood on, lights the fire, and then sees what's going on, and if he still doesn't see any discernible difference, the next thing to do is open a window. And if he opens a window and he suddenly sees the fire perk up, he knows that the fire is hunting for air, that it's looking for extra air. But if he doesn't see any difference when he opens a window, if the fire remains pretty much as it was, then I think he can safely assume that that fire is getting all the ventilation it needs without having to go to the extra trouble of fitting this vent. And the only thing that gives me no confidence at all in this installer is one thing, that he failed to spot that it's not an extractor hood, but the other thing is he's put in a vent that isn't compliant. So I would question his decision. I'd probably get onto HETAS. I don't know whether they're any help or not, quite honestly. I've not had any dealings with them for years. And I would also probably ask the building control officer or somebody like that what they thought about it, because I think the guy's been overzealous, and I understand why you would be overzealous. Nobody wants to have a fatality on their hand. But I think in this case, if he's got a smoke detector and a carbon monoxide detector in the room, then I don't see there's any problem at all with it. So there you go. It's one of those things where you're at the mercy of whoever is installing the appliance. In this case, the guy's gone over the top to make sure that Mark and his family are safe. I would like to have seen a little more of that house just to get some idea of the existing ventilation. But there's the rule: 5 kilowatts or over, and you need ventilation regardless of whether you're in an old house or not. And if it's under 5 kilowatts and you're in an old-ish house, i.e. 1970 or before, then you don't really need to have a ventilator unless you've done an awful lot of work to increase the draft proofing of your home. Air gets in through all kinds of nooks and crannies. I'm Roger Bisbee. Come back and see me soon. Let me know what you think, as you always do. Keep the questions coming in. We will try and answer them all. We don't get around to all of them, but we do favour the ones with nice pictures. We also favour the ones that have a picture that fits the screen rather than a portrait thing. Our survival depends on your support. Keep us going by watching another video, and if you want to go further, becoming a Skill Builder member makes a huge difference. Thank you.